Hi, this is Mark from SharkBait. Over the course of the last few years, we've had some requests from people that come to the shop to show them, what knots we use. When we're out on a 3/4 day trip or on our own boats or actually going long range. In my own standpoint, I'm not a big knot aficionado. Some people will spend a whole lot of time during the winter and learn all sorts of new knots that test real high. And some I think are just too darn confusing and take too much time. So I'm kind of into the simplicity of it. If there were two knots, that could get you through most any trip, in my estimation, it would be a Palomar for tying the hook onto your main line, and maybe two would be a connection for use of fluorocarbon leader. Now, starting with the fluorocarbon leader material, I used to use a blood knot, and blood knots work really well if you tie them properly. If you don't, they're going to come off as soon as you get a load on them. For example, I was fishing with the Beth a couple of years ago, and we went on an albacore trip. I had her rigged up with fluorocarbon line on a little Pen 975, and I of course had my mules with me, and she got bit first. I wasn't running fluorocarbon. Well, on her second fish, I kind of came to the conclusion that, maybe it's better if I tie on some fluorocarbon and quit screwing around with this thing. So I quickly tied on some fluorocarbon, and sure enough, I got bit. And as soon as I loaded up on the fish, poof, my line snapped at the knot, and meaning that my blood knot did not work for me that time. I was trying to tie it too quickly, and I screwed up. Now, I've used the same blood knot at Guadalupe for 80-pound yellowfin, no problem. But that inconsistency issue, and it's all user-driven, made me think that, there's got to be a better way, and there is. There's another knot that we've been using quite a bit at the shop that we refer to as a Seaguar knot. And it's a real simple, idiot-proof knot, which works for me, for connecting the leader material. You can use it up to fairly heavy test, and it's something you could even do in the dark, and it's hard to get wrong. I'm going to use these two pieces of line. I'll get kind of close, and hopefully maybe you'll be able to see this with my black shirt. That might work. I'll get my mug out of here, and I'll focus the camera appropriately and see if you can kind of follow along with what I'm doing as I narrate. Okay, here's the program. I've got some fairly stiff line here in my right hand, on your left. This stuff. This is some blue Iser, probably is about, say 60 pounds, maybe 50, 60-pound line. And what you want to do, well, here's also is what we'll be using for the fluorocarbon. A little bit skinnier, kind of a green color. What you want to do is start out with about 6 to 8 inches worth of line, and have them parallel to each other, not twisted, okay? You can hopefully make that out. Have your two lengths, 6 to 8 inches, and make a large loop, okay? And pinch it. With my right hand, I'm pinching. And so I've got my fluorocarbon here, coming off the side, and my tag end from my rod, my main line, here. Put your finger through the loop, and then go ahead and twist it once, twice. You can get away with twice. If you want to go 3 times, you can. There's no need to go more than that. Okay, so I've got my loop. Now, pinch your main line from the rod as well as your leader material, and bring that through the loop, all the way through. Okay, so there's my line from the rod, and here's my leader. And now I've got this loop here. Let it lay down, and when you do so, you'll get kind of a lazy 8 type of pattern. Cinch it a little bit, and then go ahead and stick your tongue up to the camera and give it a lick. Okay, and then go ahead and cinch it. That's it. That's it with this knot. It's not as pretty as a really well tied blood knot. However, the thing will work, and it'll test in the 90s if you do it properly. And you can go ahead and clip off your tag ends. And you can clip them on down to 1/8, 1/16 of an inch, and that's it. And then that's your finished knot. That's all there is to it. And again, this is using some 60-pound line, and the green is probably 30. Okay, so just similar line test, which makes the knot a little bit chunkier, but probably easier for you to see. Let me do it one more time. It's a quick and easy knot, like I said, and it's something that you could tie with the boats moving Now, if the boat's moving, you can tie this thing. If it's dark and you're on deck, you can tie it because you can simply go by feel. Okay? Grab your line. There's your main line. And again, here is my fluorocarbon coming off on my left. I'll bring her up a little bit closer. We'll have our 6 to 8 inches or so worth of line. And the more line you give yourself to work with, really the easier this knot will be. Let's see if we can hopefully make this out on the camera. Yeah. Then make your loop. Pinch it with your right hand. With your left, stick your index finger through that loop of both lines. Go once, twice is generally sufficient. You can go 3 times if you're compulsive. Bring your main line and your tag line through. You can get your crazy 8 pattern. Give it a lick. Yum. And then go ahead and cinch it. And that's it. And that's your knot. Okay? That's all there is to it. Hard to mess it up. Real hard to screw that knot up, and it's a good, useful knot. Very, very good, useful knot.